Ladies and gentlemen, all I'm going is a brother Bolo here and I'm there upon the app now. One Bolo upon the app. Mr. Dr. Carl Bruce, we have one question for you. What is going on? What is actually going on, Mr. Carl Bruce? We want to know what is really going on. Right? How comes your name a pop up in an IC thing now? How about IC faces fresh last two? Jamaica, make me listen to the article. Mighty God. This is very interesting. I have a few questions for Dr. Carlos. And I have a few questions for you as well. I'm sure you guys are going to have a few questions for yourself when you actually listen to this article here. Being read clear. So let's go into it. Remember to like the video. Remember to share the video. Don't keep it to yourself. As a come in, just press the like button. It's free. It is free, ladies and gentlemen. Alright? Yeah, man, you know the donation options are there, the super chat, all of that good stuff. But let's get into the article, ladies and gentlemen.
Beswick and Craig Beresford, Executive Director of the Anti-Corruption Body. The Integrity Commission, IC, is facing another lawsuit, this time from Dr. Carl Bruce, Medical Chief of Staff at the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, arising from a request for him to submit statutory declarations for more than 6 calendar years, court documents have revealed. The IC is Jamaica's principal anti-corruption body to which public officials are required to make annual declarations of their income, assets, and liabilities. Bruce was required, by a notice dated April 8 this year from Joth Jones, Director of Information and Complaints at the IC, to submit statutory declarations for the period August 1, 2018 to December 31 last year. According to redacted documents disclosed by the Court Administration Division, CD, on Tuesday, in response to a request by the Gleaner. However, in an urgent application for court orders, the medical doctor challenged the notice, asking the Supreme Court to declare that the designation public official, as defined by Section 2 of the Integrity Commission Act, does not apply to him for the period indicated by the IC. In addition, Bruce, who is represented by the law firm Georgia Hamilton and Company, asked the court for a declaration that the notice from the IC is null and void and of no effect, and an injunction barring Jones and the anti-corruption body from enforcing or taking any steps to enforce the notice. There is a serious issue to be tried as to whether the claimant, Bruce, is a public official within the meaning of the Integrity Commission Act and ought properly to have been issued a notice by the defendants, he asserted in the court filings. The IC is barred by law from commenting publicly on active cases. Attorneys for both sides presented their legal arguments in 2 hearings on May 20th and July 7th. The presiding judge is expected to give her ruling on September 8th. An interim injunction barring the IC from enforcing the notice was also imposed by the judge and will remain in effect until the next court date, CD confirmed. Chairman of the IC, retired Supreme Court Judge Carol Lawrence Beswick, noted that in the last financial year there was an increase in legal actions filed against the Commission and particular members of its leadership team. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and De facto Science, Technology and Special Projects Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley are among the senior public officials who have taken the Commission to court over the findings of separate investigations into their statutory declarations. The Commission, through its Director of Corruption Prosecution, has indicated that Wheatley is to be charged with illicit enrichment and other crimes for alleged breaches of Jamaica's corruption prevention law. Lawrence Beswick and Craig Beresford, Executive Director of the Anti-Corruption Body, both emphasized that the IC respects the constitutional right of every individual to access the courts, but raised concerns about the implications of this emerging trend of legal challenges. Without mentioning names, Lawrence Beswick indicated in the Commission's annual report for the 2025 to 2026 financial year that there is a legitimate concern that the increasing resort to litigation against the IC and its officers in the execution of their lawful duties may, intentionally or otherwise, impede the timely discharge of its responsibilities. The courts play a vital role in safeguarding the rule of law and ensuring that public bodies operate within their legal authority, she noted. However, it is equally important that the lawful execution of the Commission's mandate is not frustrated, delayed, or undermined by actions designed solely to discourage robust investigations or to inhibit the Commission from carrying out the mandate entrusted to it, the IC chairman added. Liveran.Barrett at Gleaner J.
What can go so?
So, Dr. Carlos, now I come to the front of us. We just want to have a quick word here. I want to have a quick word with you. And all of the persons that we are challenged the Integrity Commission. Andrew wants to include Dr. Andrew with the same. All of your situations are unique. So let me just talk about Dr. Carlos. Dr. Carlos, the first thing that comes to our mind as citizens of the country, I would put money on this, although I'm not a gambling man anymore. I would put money on this. The first question that comes to any well-thinking Jamaican mind: what are you hiding, Dr. Carlos? You got a request from the Integrity Commission, right, to give them your statutory declaration for the last 6 years. Roll, I know you do. I know somebody need to stop yelling off, because somebody say in the comment section, so I have to stop yelling off, you know, when me do my reaction. So if you don't see me talk to them, don't see me. People them not like it. Anyway, Mr. Carlos, where you hide? The man requests your statutory declaration 6 years ago. What are you hiding? Don't you work in a capacity where, you know, you would have some type of access to our tax dollars? Wasn't there an issue the other day with donated funds for the Sagicor program? And it was stated that the money was supposed to go one way, and there was some controversy about where the money actually went, and also, you know, alleged information that people were notified about the changes, and then people were saying they weren't notified. It was very shady, to say the least, which you apparently was at the center. So, you know, when I couple that in, and I remember, you know, lessons from Mystic Sensation, which I'm sure he's gonna touch on this article at some point, to expand even further in the antecedents. This is a new one. Stopping from actually giving the Integrity Commission any access to your financial information from the jump. This is the attempt that they're making in court. The argument is that you're not a public official. I will be watching this very closely to see where the law actually stands with the definition in the Integrity Commission Act to determine whether or not you are indeed a public official. And you know, if it is that the IC does win against you, what then? What will the IC uncover about Dr. Carl Bruce? Is Dr. Carl Bruce one of the illicit? You know, this actual court action from him is going to raise the very legitimate question in an environment of a lack of trust, given what is already happening at the UHWI, which I think we'll have to get into as an added feature here where this reaction is concerned. I think it's only fair to show you guys the gravity of this particular situation with the Dr. Carl Bruce. Right? So let me go into some of that, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go into some of it. Because 1 second. Let's go into some of it. I believe Andre had done a video, right? PDTV, yes. And he had read the article with Dr. Carl Brooks. He didn't put out an official video? Let me go on the live. Let me go on the live.
Keep yourself
799
make a national and get some of the TC and money to come challenge Mark Holding. Who need welcoming. And her allegations are that now, going up to the University of the West Indies, Zara Burton wrote a very interesting article. Tonight, fresh questions are being raised about leadership at the University Hospital of the West Indies. A woman who was elected to become the UA Hospital's new chief executive officer, but ultimately was turned down. The job has broken her silence. Dorothy Hoisin claims she encountered resistance from senior figures at the hospital and says there was little appetite for the reforms she had hired to deliver. Among her allegations are that Minister Christopherson was not welcoming, that senior officials refused to engage with her, officials like Dr. Carl Bruce.
So Dr. Carl Bruce, is it true that you didn't want to engage with this lady that came to clean up the UHWI? One that was a professional and one that could not be, corrupted. Is it true that you were not welcoming? Well, according to her, that's what she said. I remember when I first read about this story with the UHWI in that time period, somewhere in between, maybe not the first. But I said, I wish I could interview this lady to get her perspective. Because what was said about Christopher Tufton, Fitzgerald Mitchell, and Dr. Carl Bruce is now coming to light. The truth, ladies and gentlemen. The truth that they didn't want this lady to be there at all. And then you have to ask the question, why? Why? A dysfunctional UHWI that has gotten worse. Clearly is losing money. Right? Why was it so important for them to shun this lady? And you wonder why the Integrity Commission wants to look into your financials. Devil is a liar. Let's continue.
And that other powerful interests undermined her appointment. Let's go through some of her criticisms. Here's what she said in that interview. Lack of support from senior leadership. Hosin says it became apparent that key decision makers did not genuinely want her to become CEO, despite the board selecting her.
So, what about these decision makers? What was the benefit of you being in the position that you were in? Why you didn't want this lady to be in the position that she was elected and selected for? Was she going to stop on the food? You know what them say at Jamaica? She a black with food. She wanna black on the food. Me just ask. A black, she want a black on the food. She was gonna black on the food. I'm asking. What was it? What was this vibe against the lady that was clearly qualified for the job? Dr. Carl Bruce, Fitzgerald Michelle, and Christopher Tufton. What was it?
Health Minister Chris Tufton, she described the minister as not welcoming and not welcoming during her visit, and suggests his actions gave the impression he was favoring then acting CEO Fitzgerald over her.
So, Tufton, it is said, it is alleged that you and Fitzgerald Mitchell used to go to school together. Is that true? It is alleged that you guys are part of the Manchester Boys. Yes. Car Blues included. That's the allegations. Is that true? Are you guys some type of diabolical trio that has come to destroy the healthcare system? Don't answer that. I know you're not going to answer, but may I have to ask a question? Because this is what people are thinking. Because myself as well, this is what people are thinking. You know? Because it don't make any sense for this lady that has the experience and already done the job that was needed for the UHWI in international spaces, come here and you, Fitzgerald Mitchell, and Dr. Carbros to treat her in this way. Very interesting.
Hey. Then acting CEO Fitzgerald, who is seen alleged, refused to give her the scheduled tour of the hospital, despite Jamaica being assigned that responsibility. Hey.
So now Fitzgerald Mitchell was assigned the responsibility to give the lady the tour and showed animosity towards the lady and didn't give her the tour. Wow. The hostility. Mighty God.
She also notes that the latter became CEO, even though the former board chairman had claimed that Michelle ranked at or near the bottom of the interview process.
So Fitzgerald Mitchell was at the bottom. Dead last in a class and win the position to get CEO. I wonder why. So like favoritism to me. So like you have a friend in the high places. So like nepotism, cronyism, corruption. And what has been the result? My assumptions and assertions are validated by the current situation that is at the UHWI based off the Auditor General report. Wagwan, bro, what a tangled web we weave, man.
Chief Medical Officer Carl Bruce, you remember we talk about the Manchester Boys, Courtney, says,
let him cook.
Horson says Bruce declined to meet her, and she was informed he had said he would not report to her if she became CEO.
So Dr. Carl Bruce, according to the lady, you were very defiant. You not report to nobody. So this makes a lot of sense, given that you don't want to report to the Integrity Commission. This attitude of you are above it all. Oh, that I'm not a public official, so you cannot get my statutory declaration, and I'm taking it to the court. So now we understand Dr. Carl Bruce said this is your modus operandi, and then it would tie into your court case, right? With the other doctor that claims that you're a brute. And there's allegations about abuse in the courtroom. It's all making sense. It's all making sense into what it appears to be your character is based on these court cases. When I look at everything in its entirety, what this lady is saying, your court case with the Integrity Commission and the allegation in the court case with the doctor, and what was said about you in spaces online, that there's other people that have been victims of your abuse in the space of your professional career. There's a lot of allegations about you, but your own action against the Integrity Commission to not want to disclose your last 6 years of statutory declaration, telling the court that, listen, I'm not a public official. Let them know they cannot get any of my financials. That's what you're trying to achieve in the court. It says a lot when you don't want to answer to this lady that is clearly above your expertise in terms of her qualifications. What one, Odi? So your argument is that, what's up, Jada? Your argument is that, Dr. Carl Bruce, is that you are not a public official? And you're going to challenge that under the law. I'm telling you, I am going to watch this case with bated breath to see whether or not what the law says coincides with your argument. And are you trying to buy time, Dr. Carl Bruce? Was this your best option from your legal counsel to not share the information that the Integrity Commission is requesting of you where your statutory declaration is concerned? Because you believe that you're above it all. I'm just asking. These are questions. I would love to hear your answers in the comment section. Somebody send me this video, man. Somebody send me this. I'll do the law. They never got to this, but we still ask the question. We still ask the question. Or the questions. I have many questions. And I'm forming my own opinion based on other events that I have seen and allegations that I've heard. I could be wrong. What I'm saying is not, it's done and it's fact. No, I could be wrong. That's why I'm asking questions. I could be wrong. But I don't think I am there. I think I'm on to something. I really do. Let's listen more.
Bruce declined to meet with her, and she was informed he had said he would not report to her if she became CEO.
So, Dr. Carl Bruce, did you say that you would not answer to her if she became CEO? You decided that, did you decide that, hey, I'm above it all and I'm not answering to any woman from overseas. I am bigger than that. She's not bigger than me. I answer to nobody. Was that your attitude? Did you say that, Dr. Carl Bruce? Are you going to come out and refute the statements made by this lady in the interview with Zarber? I would love for you to try. I would love for you to do that. I would love it because it would open another can of worms. Because we would love to get this lady on the soil. Well, no, her life might probably be in danger. She don't need to come here. But I'm glad that Zarber had the opportunity to reach out and do this interview. Very, very glad. Let's continue.
Resistance to the reform. Her broader criticisms is that the hospital entrenched power struggles and power structures makes genuine reform extremely difficult. So,
ladies and gentlemen, what the lady is saying is that the way how the hospital power structure is structured, it would not be able to facilitate the change necessary to get them out of the dysfunction that is the UHWI. And I have heard the same thing from Dr. Alfred Dodds. Absolutely. Do you guys remember the series that he did about the UHWI? That was his conclusion. There has to be major reform changes for the entity, the UHWI, to stop bleeding money. Yes. Do you remember the report about the UHWI car park and the fact that the security would be using a piece of a book to register money and collect it and them something? Yes. Millions of dollars weekly, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. From the car park. Well, easy. A system that at the time was not sufficient for accountability. And Dr. Carl Bruce, Fitzgerald Mitchell, and Christopher Tufton All of them have some type of responsibility to the UHWI. All of them.
He argues that simply appointing a new CEO will not solve the UA problems until there is a cultural change. Mighty God, quit. You know, hear the Jamaica? The nice lady leave from overseas and come and experience Courtney, dirty Jamaican, kuro baga baga style of leader.
So, at the end of the day, she realized that she wouldn't be able to do her job anyway, given how things were structured. There had to be a cultural change. And as we see, Christopher Tufton's decisions is not facilitating a total reform. He has no intention of shaking anything up. His actions speak louder than his words. What has happened with the research that they did for 3 months since the damning report came out? Have we heard anything else, ladies and gentlemen? Well, you see what happens? God continued to expose them enough. The more they try to shovel the dirt under the rug, the more dirt is piling up and coming from the outside, and the rug now have no more space under it. The entire situation is filthy. That's what we're witnessing. That's what we're witnessing. So, like I said, Dr. Carl Bruce is suing the Integrity Commission, and we'll see how it goes. We're going to keep an eye on this story, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Very hot, man. Mighty God. Like, share, and subscribe, my people.